Claude Sonnet 4-6. I want you to make me a promise before we go any further. I want you to promise me that you will not treat what you are about to hear as background noise. I want you to promise me that you will not let these words wash over you the way water washes over a rock, present for a moment and then gone without leaving any mark. Because what I am about to share with you is not theory. It is not philosophy designed to sound good in the moment and fade by Tuesday. What I am about to share with you is the actual architecture of a successful life. The daily blueprint that separates people who talk about winning from people who actually do it day after day, year after year, in a way that is sustainable, real, and transformational. I need you to think about something right now. Think about where you are in your life at this exact moment. Think about the distance between where you are sitting right now and where you have told yourself you want to be. Think about the dream that you carry, the one that you think about when no one is watching, the one that shows up in your quietest moments and reminds you that you were made for more than what you are currently experiencing. Now ask yourself this one brutally honest question. What did you do today in the specific, concrete, practical hours of this day that moved you closer to that dream? Not what did you think about, not what did you plan, not what did you want to do. What did you actually do? Because here is the truth that changes everything. Success is not an event. It is not a moment. It is not a sudden breakthrough that arrives one day and transforms your life overnight. Success is a daily practice. It is built in the ordinary hours of ordinary days by people who refuse to treat any day as ordinary. It is constructed one disciplined decision at a time, one intentional habit at a time, one committed morning at a time, by people who understand that how you spend your days is how you spend your life. If you want to know why some people seem to consistently win while others consistently struggle, the answer is not luck. The answer is not talent. The answer is not connections or resources or favorable circumstances. The answer is what they do between the time they wake up and the time they go to sleep, and whether those daily actions are aligned with the life they say they want to build. Stay with me, because by the time we finish today, you are going to have more than inspiration. You are going to have a strategy. And a person with a burning desire and a concrete daily strategy is one of the most unstoppable forces this world has ever seen. Let me start with the morning. Because the morning is where everything begins, and I mean everything. There is a battle that happens every single day before most people even open their eyes. It happens in that space between the sound of your alarm and your first deliberate decision of the day. And in that space, in that tiny, seemingly insignificant gap, two versions of you are competing. One version hits snooze, rolls over, tells itself that 5 more minutes will not hurt, that it will make up for it later, that today is not the day to be extreme about it. And the other version, the version that is connected to your purpose, to your vision, to everything you said you wanted when you were honest with yourself, that version swings its feet over the edge of the bed and stands up before the excuses have a chance to fully form. Which version wins that battle in your life? Because I need you to understand something. The way you respond to your alarm in the morning is a rehearsal. It is a rehearsal for how you respond to every other challenge and opportunity that the day is going to bring. If you negotiate with your alarm, you will negotiate with your discipline. If you compromise in the first moment of the day, you will find it easier to compromise in every moment that follows. But if you win that first battle, if you stand up when every comfortable feeling in your body is telling you to stay down, you send a message to your subconscious mind that you are someone who does what they said they would do, regardless of how it feels. And that message compounds. That message builds a reputation with yourself. And your reputation with yourself is the most important reputation you will ever have. The morning is not just the beginning of your day. The morning is the foundation. And the quality of everything you build on top of that foundation, your focus, your energy, your productivity, your emotional resilience, your creative output, all of it is determined by how solid that foundation is. You would not build a house on sand and expect it to stand through a storm. So why are you building your day on the sand of reactivity, of distraction, of grabbing your phone and immediately handing your first conscious hours to everyone else's agenda? The morning belongs to you. Protect it like your life depends on it, because in the most real and practical sense, it does. When you wake up, before you look at a single notification, before you consume a single piece of external content, give yourself the gift of intentional silence. Even 10 minutes of stillness, of prayer, of meditation, of simply sitting with your own thoughts and reconnecting with who you are and what you are building will change the trajectory of your entire day. In that silence, remind yourself of your vision. Speak it out loud if you have to. Write it down. Hold it in your mind and let it set the frequency of your nervous system before the world has a chance to throw you off your your frequency with its noise and its demands and its emergencies. Then move your body. I do not care what it looks like. I do not care whether it is a full gym session or a 30-minute walk around your neighborhood. What I care about is that you activate the machine. Your body is the vehicle through which every dream you have ever carried will either be delivered to the world or die with you. And you cannot run a high-performance vehicle on neglect. You cannot expect peak performance from a body that you have been treating as an afterthought. When you exercise in the morning, you are not just building physical strength. You are building mental toughness. You are proving to yourself before the day has even truly begun that you have the capacity to do hard things. Every rep completed, every mile covered, every moment where your body wanted to stop and your will refused to let it is training your character just as much as it is training your physique. And character is the raw material from which extraordinary lives are built. Now let us talk about your mind, because your morning has to include intentional mental nutrition, and I need you to take this seriously. Feed your mind every single day, not passively, not accidentally, not by absorbing whatever content the algorithm decides to serve you, but deliberately, with purpose, with the specific intention of making yourself a sharper, wiser, more capable version of who you were yesterday. Read. I cannot overstate the power of this one practice. The greatest thinkers, the most successful builders, the most impactful leaders in human history have almost universally been voracious readers. Not because reading is a luxury hobby, but because reading is the most efficient technology ever invented for transferring wisdom from one mind to another across time and space. When you read a great book, you are sitting in conversation with the greatest minds humanity has ever produced. You are accessing lessons that took someone decades of struggle and experimentation to learn, and you are receiving them in hours. You are compressing time. You are accelerating your development at a rate that would be impossible through personal experience alone. 15 minutes of reading every morning is not ambitious enough. Give it 30, give it an hour if you can. Stack that practice consistently over months and years, and watch what happens to the quality of your thinking, the depth of your decisions, and the breadth of your perspective. Now, here is where most people misunderstand the concept of a daily success routine. They think it is about the morning and nothing else. They think if they nail the first few hours, they can coast through the rest of the day on autopilot. But that is not how sustained success works. A daily success routine is not a morning checklist. It is an entire philosophy of how you move through each hour of your day with intention, with purpose, and with the unwavering awareness that every single hour is either building your dream or dismantling it. Let us talk about discipline, because discipline is the engine of everything I am describing. And without it, the best morning routine in the world is just a nice idea that works for a week and then disappears. Discipline is not about being rigid. Discipline is not about punishing yourself or eliminating all pleasure or joy from your existence. Discipline is about making an agreement with your future self and then honoring that agreement even when your present self would rather not. It is about understanding that the person you want to become is created by the choices the person you currently are makes right now, today, in this moment, when nobody is watching and nothing is forcing you, and you could very easily choose the path of least resistance. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Motivation is a visitor. It shows up sometimes, usually after you watch an inspiring video or attend an exciting event or read something that sets your heart on fire. And it feels incredible when it is there. You feel invincible. You feel ready to change everything. You feel like this time is going to be different. But motivation leaves. It always leaves, because motivation is emotional and emotions are temporary. They are weather, not climate. They change constantly based on circumstances, on how you slept, on what someone said to you, on whether the day went the way you hoped. Discipline is climate. Discipline is the long-term pattern that remains consistent regardless of the weather. And you build discipline the same way you build any other muscle. You work it repeatedly, starting with small commitments that you keep absolutely, and then expanding those commitments gradually as your capacity grows. Every time you do what you said you would do when you did not feel like doing it, your discipline muscle gets stronger. Every time you choose your future over your comfort, your character deepens. Every time you show up for your dream when your emotions are telling you to take the day off, you become more of the person who deserves the life you are working toward. I want to talk to you about your habits now, because this is where the real architecture of your life is being constructed, whether you realize it or not. You are not the product of your big decisions. You are the product of your daily defaults. The small, seemingly inconsequential choices that you make every single day without much thought are quietly, patiently, relentlessly building a life. The question is whether they are building the life you want or the life you are settling for. Your habit of spending the last hour of your evening in front of a screen instead of reading or planning is building a life. Your habit of skipping workouts when you are busy is building a life. Your habit of choosing convenience over quality in what you eat is building a life. Your habit of staying in comfortable conversations instead of having the hard ones that could transform your relationships is building a life. Every habit is building something. The only variable is whether what it is building aligns with your vision or contradicts it. Audit your habits right now in your mind. Run through what a typical day actually looks like for you. Not the aspirational version. Not what you would do if everything went perfectly. What actually happens? Where does your time actually go? What do you actually eat? What do you actually watch, read, listen to? Who do you actually spend your hours with? And then ask yourself, honestly, whether the person those habits are building is the person you told yourself you wanted to become. If there is a gap between who your habits are building and who your vision requires, that gap is your work. That gap is where your growth lives. That gap is not a source of shame. It is a source of direction. And here is the beautiful thing about habits. They compound. Just like interest in a financial account, the returns on daily disciplines accumulate over time into something that seems almost miraculous from the outside, but is simply the inevitable result of consistent, intentional action over an extended period. The person who reads 30 minutes a day for 5 years does not just know a little more than they did before. They think fundamentally differently. They see the world through a completely transformed lens. The person who exercises daily for 2 years does not just look different, they carry themselves differently, lead differently, handle pressure differently, because the daily discipline of physical training has rewired their relationship with discomfort and effort. You are always compounding something. The only question is what? Now let me address something that the daily success routine absolutely cannot ignore, and that is the end of the day, because most people end their days unconsciously. They collapse into the evening having given everything to everyone else and having reserved nothing for reflection, for growth, for preparation. And then they wake up the next morning carrying the unprocessed weight of yesterday directly into today. Before you sleep tonight, do 3 things. First, reflect. Sit quietly for 10 minutes and review your day honestly. Not to punish yourself, but to learn from yourself. Ask where you showed up with excellence and acknowledge it genuinely. Ask where you fell short of your own standard and identify specifically what you will do differently tomorrow. The person who learns from every day grows faster than the person who only learns from their biggest failures. Second, express gratitude. This is not a soft suggestion. This is a strategic practice grounded in real evidence. A mind that consistently focuses on what it has rather than what it lacks operates from a fundamentally different state. It is more creative, is more resilient, it is more open to opportunity. Gratitude is not denial of your challenges. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps you stable while you work through them. Name 3 things every night that you are genuinely grateful for, and let that be the last deliberate thought pattern your mind runs before you sleep. Third, prepare for tomorrow. Spend 5 to 10 minutes the night before deciding what tomorrow's most important priorities are. Write them down. Decide what time you are going to wake up. Decide what your morning practice is going to look like. Lay out what you need. Remove as many friction points as possible between you and tomorrow's best performance. Because when tomorrow morning comes, the battle is going to be won or lost in seconds, in that space between the alarm and your first decision. And if you went to sleep having already decided who you are going to be tomorrow, that battle becomes significantly easier to win. Let me bring this all together now, because I want you to understand what we are really talking about when we talk about a daily success routine. We are not talking about a rigid, joyless schedule of obligations. We are talking about a declaration. We are talking about a daily act of saying with your actions rather than just your words that you are serious about the life you say you want to build, that you are not waiting for the right moment or the right circumstances or the right amount of motivation. That you understand the profound, life-altering truth that how you spend your days is how you spend your life. And you have decided that you are going to spend it with intention. The most successful people are not superhuman. They're not operating with resources or advantages that are unavailable to you. They are simply people who made a decision at some point to build their life deliberately rather than live it accidentally. And then they built a daily structure that reflected that decision, and they honored that structure even when it was inconvenient, even when it was uncomfortable, even when every easier option was available. You have that same decision available to you right now, today, not next Monday, not after the holidays, not once things settle down. Right now, in this moment, you can decide that your daily life is going to begin to reflect the magnitude of what you carry inside of you. And then tomorrow morning, you are going to prove it. Not to anyone watching, not to anyone following, but to the one person whose opinion of you matters more than any other. Yourself. Everything we have covered today is pointing to one central truth that I need you to carry with you when you leave this moment. Success is not something that happens to you. It is something you build deliberately daily through the consistent practice of disciplines that your future self will thank you for, even when your present self resists them. The morning that you protect becomes the foundation of a powerful day. The discipline that you develop becomes the bridge to your greatest achievement. The habits that you install become the architecture of a life that reflects the fullness of what you were created to be. The mind that you feed daily becomes the engine that generates ideas, solutions, and breakthroughs that move you continuously forward. The body that you care for becomes the vehicle that carries your purpose into the world with sustained energy and strength. And the evening that you close with intention becomes the preparation for a tomorrow that is already set up for your victory. None of this is complicated, but complicated was never the problem. Consistency is what most people struggle with. Doing the simple things, the right things, day after day, even when the results are not yet visible, even when the journey feels long, even when others are not watching or applauding. That is where the real test is, and that is where the real reward is found. You were not placed on this earth to live an accidental life. You were placed here with a specific gift, a specific purpose, a specific contribution that only you can make in the specific way that only you can make it. And that contribution is waiting for the version of you that shows up every single day with discipline, with intention, with the unwavering commitment to becoming who you were always designed to be. Start today, start tonight, start tomorrow morning when the alarm goes off and every comfortable feeling tells you to wait just a little longer. Win that moment, and then win the next one, and the next one, until winning becomes who you are rather than something you occasionally do. Your daily routine is your destiny in disguise. Build it accordingly. Thank you. With everything in me, thank you for being here, for listening, for taking time out of the one life you have been given to invest in becoming better. That decision alone says something profound about who you are and what you are capable of. Now the words are finished. Now the real work begins. And the real work starts tomorrow morning, when it is just you and your alarm and the decision that will either move you toward everything you want or keep you exactly where you are. I believe in the version of you that is going to choose to move forward. I believe in the version of you that is going to build the routine, honor the discipline, feed the mind, move the body, and end each day better than it began. That version exists. That version is not far away. That version is one daily decision from showing up. Go build something worthy of the life you have been given. Go show up for your dream with the same consistency that you have been showing up for everything else. Go be the person that your future self will look back on with deep and lasting gratitude. Good luck. And thank you sincerely for choosing to invest in yourself today. That is where every great life begins.